I know we've been waiting for several months. You've been waiting for several months. The time to get back online and really, truly talk again about the Bears and Bears football. Because indeed, the 2023 preseason is officially underway. It is exciting. And there is no hyperbole. There is no overstating it. This is a critical season for the Bears organization. Lots of reasons to potentially be excited, but lots of reasons for concern too. So we're going to see how this all plays out in the months ahead. But today, your first chance to see the Chicago Bears officially in action in 2023. Important to not under or overreact to anything that you see here. And certainly, if you were looking for the Bears defense to be in mid-season form, they certainly were out of the gate against the Titans' backup offense. It was spectacular. The way they let them move right down the field for a touchdown. It's really nice of Alan Williams, the defensive coordinator, head coach Matt Eberflus, to build a little confidence in the young man Malik Willis. Things haven't been going the best in Tennessee after being drafted in the third round last year. Let's help make the man's career a little bit. Really nice. But what you did see on that first drive, to me at least, the linebacking core was improved. Saw T.J. Edwards flash a couple times. The secondary could be nice. You had Kyler Gordon come in with a couple of what I call gores. And Tyreek Stevenson showed some physicality and ball skills. Nice. And secondary needle is certainly pointing up. It better be, as much as they've invested in terms of draft pick capital into that the past couple of years. But that that defensive line, looks like it could still stink. They're going to need a really big year from Yannick Ngakoue, and they certainly could have used it today, but it's preseason, so you don't really give a shit. But they looked a little bit better against the run, but I didn't see a unit that could generate, in terms of that starting unit, that was going to generate a ton of pressure. And you're going to say, well, they got 8 sacks or whatever in the game. Yeah, but that's when you get down to like the second, the third, the fourth stringers. Give me a fucking break here. But out of the gate, giving up a touchdown. The Bears defense playing Bears football. I got to say this, though, for the offense. You know, this was the thing we all really gave a shit about, right? Is, hey, you're going to see Justin Fields a little bit here. What's he going to do? It's really nice to see what having speedy skill players can do for a young quarterback. The first pass to DJ Moore, no, it wasn't on target by any means, and Fields has got to get better at that shit. But DJ Moore hits the seam, 62-yard touchdown. Holy shit, wasn't that a nice surprise? And you're like, man, okay, I want to see a little bit more of this today. But of course, gutless Getsy, put him up. I'm the offensive coordinator. Put him up. I've got courage. I got more courage than before. What does he do when he comes back out? Halfback sweep. Halfback dive. Halfback dive. And you just saw DJ Moore house call at 62 yards. And I realize it's a preseason. But this run-heavy, run-first approach of the Bears, it needs to fuck right the hell off. Because the next time, here's Justin Fields extending the third down, rolls out of the pocket, there's Khalil Herbert out in the flat, and now Herbert takes it 56 yards down the sideline for another touchdown. You're like, holy shit, this is what it feels like to have some home runs in your damn offense. It must be nice. Must be nice. It is nice. Let's hope we see more of it this year. Now, of course, this is leading to Bears fans getting all fucking types of defensive about Justin Fields and straw man argumenting to fucking death. Bottom line is, who gives a fuck what anybody else says? Don't worry about it. Because the arguments and defenses you make are fucking dumb anyway, so just stop it. Who cares? Seriously. You honestly saw so little of Justin Fields. It's almost kind of annoying in the sense of you have nothing to point to and say, oh my God, he's fantastic. You have absolutely nothing to point to and say, oh my God, he was terrible. And there you go. In terms of the offensive line, though, they look solid, the starting unit especially. I have to wonder what the deal is with Nate Davis and if when we're going to fucking see him. Darnell Wright looks solid. You didn't hear his name getting called in terms of blowing a blocking assignment or letting somebody get some pressure around him, so that's a good sign. Ja'Tyre Carter played a lot of the game, and he looked pretty good. So if you're talking about like a swing backup guard, there you go. Alex Leatherwood, I saw people talk about this during the game on Twitter, and they were right. Like, Leatherwood looked better playing at guard, but he also found his way on the ground a little too much, but we'll take some progress there. But the offensive line, that was an encouraging sign. Defensive line, not so much. However, you did have a couple bright spots there on the defensive line with Travis Gibson. He was the best player on the field today for the Bears, period. He played like he was a guy in his fourth year fighting for a roster spot, and he wanted it. It's going to be really hard if he plays in preseason games like this to not have him make the 53-man roster. Really, really hard. Also, Terrell Lewis, I think he had a couple of sacks today. This is a guy years back at Alabama, was a high upside edge rusher, had some knee injuries, played a little bit with the Rams, and now he comes in, and he might be a guy that could have a chance to stick on the 53-man roster. So if you were looking for encouraging signs, you got him from Gibson, you got him from Terrell Lewis, and this is a team that needs some guys that can get some pressure off the edge. Speaking of pressure, somebody that should be feeling pressure right now, because anybody can just let a punt bounce and let it roll until the play is dead. But it takes a real bust to muff a preseason punt like Velus Jones Jr. Like, you get to the point and you kind of say, what exactly is it that you would say that you do around here? I'd be more surprised if he does make the 53-man roster than if he doesn't right now. I really would. Like, he can't keep screwing up these opportunities in the return game. That was a big problem for him last year. You're going to say, well, he's a young guy. Yeah, I mean, shit. He's like only, 26, 27? Maybe by the time he's 29 or 30, he'll finally get a handle on it. But yeah, he looks like he could be in some roster vulnerability. It was a great day as a Bears fan if you are a believer in Eberflus's hits philosophy, because takeaways were aplenty here today, and that was really good to see. But we all know, like, a big part of watching the preseason is to see how the rookies do. As I mentioned before, Darnell Wright looks solid. I even asked at one point, I was kind of being a smart ass here, I knew he was playing, but Javon Dexter, I was like, is he playing or is he just hurt? I knew he was playing. He had like one tackle, but he was still slow to get off the ball. Then he got dinged up a little bit, so he didn't do too much. Sack Pickens, that's spelled S-A-C-C-K, not Z-A-C-C-H. Sack Pickens with the sack and some pressure, and they're going to need that coming out of the interior. Tyreek Stevenson is going to be challenged a lot outside, especially if he's going to be the outside corner opposite Jalen Johnson. There's no question about it. I loved his physicality. I loved the way he closed on the ball. I love the ball skills that he flashed here a little bit today. But he blew some assignments in coverage. He's going to have to get better there. He's going to have to minimize some of his coverage misses in year one. He's going to get picked on a lot is what I'm going to say. He's going to get picked on a lot. Roschon Johnson, to me, showed that he should be in the running back 2 conversation to start off the season over Foreman. I really think that. And maybe at some point in time in the year, pushing Khalil Herbert. Like, if you were an advocate or fan of this team drafting Roschon Johnson in the 4th round back in April, you watched today, you were left wanting more, but you saw some flashes and you said, especially the one big run that he had, you said, yeah, that dude's got some starter upside here. Tyler Scott didn't fumble in the return game, so that's positive. Makes it worse for Velus Jones Jr. Tyler Scott also shows he could get open, but he also had a bad fumble. This is a guy you've been hearing a lot of raving and ranting about in a positive way in terms of his training camp performance, and you just didn't see much of it today. The other rookie I'll talk about here really quickly is Tyson Bagent. P.J. Walker looked really bad today, and I realize it's the preseason, but that's been kind of a theme of his in training camp, inaccurate, overthrowing guys, and in this game today, he stunk. And he's going to be the backup quarterback, but as I look at it, and I know this is not going to happen, but personally, my opinion, if you're going to keep a third quarterback, I'd rather keep Tyson Bagent at this point than I would Nathan Peterman. I wouldn't want to run the risk of somebody stealing away Tyson Bagent before you could stash him on the practice squad. Nathan Peterman's a known commodity. He stinks. He's not a great fit for your offense. And when you think about Fields, the part of the reason for having P.J. Walker as the backup is because you don't have to fundamentally change the offense if Justin Fields is out. Well, Tyson Bagent would be a similar type of story to some degree. Like I saw in the flashes here today in this game, watched some of them in Division II last year. I look at him and I say, he might not be great, but we know Peterman stinks. And you have to change your offense with Peterman. You don't have to with Bagent. He should be QB3 in my opinion. But the Bears won this one 23-17. Not like it really matters because it's preseason. But hey, you saw some things. If you wanted to feel good about DJ Moore being in Chicago, you got that. Bears. If you wanted to feel good about this offense being able to hit some home runs, Bears. You got it. If you wanted to have reasons to worry about things in the defense, specifically that defensive line, you got it. Bears football! Boy, it's good to be back talking about the team that we love and love to hate and hate to love sometimes, isn't it? I'll be back next weekend to talk about them in their next preseason matchup, which Adam Amin and Jim Miller made reference to. It's going to be in Indianapolis. Remember last time they were for preseason game a few years ago? That was the night the news broke about Andrew Luck's impending retirement. Should be interesting. Get a chance to see Anthony Richardson. We got to see Malik Willis and Will Levis today. And I don't think either one of them distinguished themselves from the other that much. So yeah, get to watch Anthony Richardson on Saturday. Get to see a little bit more of the Bears and their young players. Sign me up for that.